So, how are you? I hope you all are doing really, really well. I am Jacqueline Jax from AVA Live Radio, and I am actually here to talk to you guys about branding and using your logo. And it's really, really important because a lot of times that's going to define whether or not you're really taking seriously. And I feel that logos actually have a lot to do with your searchability, the boost of your sales every single year that you put out something new, and also the strengthening of your fan-based relationships. And I'm going to talk to you guys about why, because I think that there's a huge disconnect in what a lot of people are saying about branding and logos and using all of these things to market your music and what's actually happening. So I've got some examples for you guys today so that hopefully you can learn a little something. And maybe if you can't afford to hire someone to do this for you, then there's some little DIY things that you can kind of manipulate yourself, at least so that you can go in the right direction, you know? I mean, there's a lot of tools out there. So if you can't hire someone like my firm or, get with AVA Live Radio to try and use the resources that we have in order to help you, then you can do a lot of things to help move yourself forward. You know what I mean? And, okay, let's get started because I want to show you guys some stuff. So this is our AVA Live Radio website. Pretty consistent stuff with us. You know, we help indie artists from all over the world, and like the whole thing that we try and focus on with our brand as a radio station and also a resource center music community is that you not only launch music with us, and we get, we help develop your fan base, but we help you get the resources that you need in order to build on what you have, So when you actually see an artist come on board with us, what you get to see is a wonderful, wonderful new release of music from the artist. And the great thing about it is that the stories shape around the song and the artist that we have on at that one moment in time. And from there on, that artist becomes part of our music community. And they are exposed to a lot of really cool resources, a lot of great opportunities, live streaming events. The station has a lot of things going on behind the scenes and in front of you all that have to do with promotion of indie music and getting people out there. We're not only promoting, though, we have affiliates and we have resources. And the resource side is more of what I'm talking to you guys about today. And that's helping you better your brand, helping you build a stronger brand. So let me go to the first one, which is Den of Ashes, who you've heard on the website before. Den of Ashes is Ash Beck. He is doing a really great job coming out of the box with an awesome music brand. And here is his logo. You've seen this. I opened this on the air. It was the Den of Ashes EP that he sent me, which is really cool, and it's got like inserts and everything. What I want you to notice, though, is notice the consistent logo design. So this is actually his kick butt logo, which I thought was really, really cool. And what you're going to see is you're going to see it consistent both on his website and his products, right? It's really eye-catching, I know. Now, the reason why his presentation, if you look, is so professional and really takes note is because not only has he chose black and white as the entire color scheme of the logo and the music brand, but now you start to associate this logo with Ash Beck and also an image of him with the wings, which you're going to see as I move through his pages, how it's consistent. So he's kind of got two things. He's got a visual image of the artist and a logo that's going to carry forward in everything you see coming out of him in the next little while. And this is where you can really get the idea that using a logo can mark a moment in time for your music brand and strengthen your fan base, because your fans are going to get very, very involved with having this logo as be a symbol of your music at that time, right? So if he wanted to change this moving forward to another year of a new release, he could do a variation of this logo with a whole new brand picture, you know, of him. And if the music changes, this doesn't have to stay identical. The color scheme could change, or a variation of this could happen. And then you'd see over time that it would mark a moment in time for this musician. And that's where we really get exciting, because now you see in this logo here in Facebook, he's actually got that wing image instead of the logo design. Now, I would have liked to seen, and this is okay as long as it's consistent, but I would have liked to seen him go with just the logo all the way through, because here's why. Because when somebody is new to Den of Ashes and they see him anywhere, because this top has no logo on it, and because this has no logo on it, now you're going to start to get confusing if you don't know the artist. And this is one thing that I'm going to write to him and say that he could possibly change, is that if he added the logo to the header image and the logo here, then all of a sudden, if you drive some new traffic to Den of Ashes, they're going to stick really easily. And the reason being is because if I am searching for Den of Ashes, you can see, as if I were new and I didn't know, there would be a lot of different logos would come up. So now that I know him for the wings, that's okay. But I really would rather him start putting this impression forward. And the reason why is because when you go through his pages, and he's just walking the fine line, guys, this is something that you're going to have to decide. You go to his Twitter page, he again used this. So thank goodness he's using one image all the way through so that we can find him. But it actually, for him, has to be this one or that one now moving forward. And you can see why, right? So now if he used this one, you could sell t-shirts with it, you could do crowdfunding with it, you could do all kinds of things moving that forward. And you can see why you want to really have an identified logo as to represent your brand, because the images tell the story, but the logo associates you through all of the social media pages. All right, so let's take another one. This is Skid Bone. They've been on my show before. They're great, terrific people. I love them. They have such a good story. They don't have a website, so they use Reverb Nation as their website, moving until they have their website updated. Now, here's the thing. They actually have this kind of basic, a little bit 80s metal rock band logo, Skid Bone. But what I do like is that now this is going to tell you what their music is like, correct? I mean, so if we play Skid Bone's song, Heaven's Home, you can tell how it really goes with the logo, correct? You're going to hear now his music is start to paint a picture with the logo, and that really works. Now, if you go over to his Facebook page, this is where they don't have the impression happening. So you need, obviously, the logo to be here and the logo to be here as a portion of the watermark of the photograph in order for it to really take hold and start working for them across the social media pages. So if I were to check a lot of their social pages, not only do they have a different logo as the thumbnail, so now here's John's face, but very, very few images representing the actual logo of the company, of the brand, of the music brand. And that's one of the mistakes that I see a lot of people making. Now, I love, see, on Twitter, he's doing it right. Now, you don't even have to use just the logo. You could use the watermark of the logo over the photograph. So, but it does have to be consistent, because what would happen is if we didn't know John and we didn't know Skid Bone, we would be looking through these pages to try and see which ones were the actual band pages. And that's where a lot of the indie artists have to change up the way that they link all of their things together. This has to do with searchability. Here's another one. This is Everything Falls. I love them. They were on my show. They're really cool. Everything Falls, this logo just is amazing. I think it's so young and so cool, you know, and it really does start to tell the story. It goes with their music, And if you notice on their media, especially if you go to their store, you're going to start to see Everything Falls logo used some way in all of their branding on their EPs. Now this is a really good example right here of how they have used their logo 2 different times, but a variation of it. So here they did the black and white, which I love, with Everything Falls in that lettering, specific lettering. And then in this year, they've changed it up. They've got this blue painted color scheme with a little bit of green and white. Those are their colors for this year. Now this is wonderful because this is a great example of how they have marked a moment in time for their fans to not only strengthen the fan base and how they feel about the band, but they've also marked the moment and made it recognizable across all their social media networks. So like if I were to go to their Facebook and their Twitter and all those social pages from their website, I am going to be really excited to hopefully see the logo. All right, now see, this is what I'm going to talk to them about. Now, wouldn't it have been better, instead of that picture there, to leave a picture here with their logo here, their watermark, and then have the Everything Falls blue logo right there? That to me would have been such a great follow through, because then I would have known when I landed on this page, this is absolutely the right band page. And I would have been really clear that this band, that was their Facebook page. Let's go to their Twitter and see what's going on with Twitter. Again, see, it's good that they use the same one. However, it does not translate from their website. Now it starts to remove the website from who they are as a band. Now you have to go to the website and you get one picture, and then you go to their social media pages, and it doesn't reflect their color scheme. It doesn't reflect anything to do with the actual music release for this year. And that is where you start to see a breakaway in the consistency. And if I were a new fan, it would be confusing, because on their website, I'm not seeing the same color schemes and images that I'm seeing here. And all you have to do to fix that is change the logo here, and then also put a watermark on your cover picture. And that really, really helps. And again, you've got to do it consistently through all the social media that you have. All right, we're going to St. Luke's Drifters. St. Luke's Drifters, great shot in the beginning. But now let's go to their social pages and see what they've actually got representing their brand. Okay, here's something interesting. Now I love this image. I would love to see this on the watermarks on their albums, cover art, more present on all of their website, because on their website, don't forget, it had a much different picture, right? That logo's not present. We really need to see it. It is kind of in the beginning of their video, but it really should be here, because that's what's going to set up the consistency and the demand for this band using this logo. Now here's something really, really cool that I want to point out. Look at this cover photo. They actually have a variation of this on the back of his jacket. Now if you really want to get crazy, this should be on the back of his jacket and on all their t-shirts and all of their merch, because this marks a moment in time. It builds strength among the fan base, and it would be something that would be so cool to see on a t-shirt. I mean, like if you did a crowdfunding campaign before this album came out and this logo existed, I would want so much cool stuff with this logo on it. And then moving forward to the next year, they could do a variation, maybe change the colors or do a variation of this logo to mark the moment in time. And I think that this is something that a lot of bands are missing, because maybe they're not with a big PR company, or they haven't really sat down and thought it through as to what people see when they first come on to a fan base. And it's really important, because this has a lot to do with whether people stick with you and get behind your band financially. A lot of times, if you had something like this, representing you going in, then what would happen is people would be so attacking on the logo. They would love it so much that that would now sit in their mind, be synonymous with the music. It would be like, yeah, that year that they released that album, that's what I was really crazy about. And then they were excited to get the new release of the logo, the new, St. Luke's Drifters as they move forward in their journey. So it's basically you're going to be using these logos to carry your fans along with you and get them really excited about the new release as you move forward. That's one way that it boosts sales, actually. So here's the next one. This is Radio Drive, Kevin Gullickson. Been on the show quite often. I love his music. Kevin has developed this last year, this logo when he first came aboard with us, which is Radio Drive, and it's an RD. Now you're going to see this with the black and white color scheme being pretty much the focal point of all of his marketing. And let's hope it is still going, because that is what boosts sales. I mean, when you release and I see it on his Facebook page down here too, when you release your music, you want to make sure that this logo now becomes synonymous with your music for that year. And whether he comes out with a different color scheme next year or when he releases new music, I feel that this RD really has stuck with them and been such a great part of his music brand, and it's been really, really important. You'll notice this on everything that he releases. He uses watermarks. He uses it on all of his social media pages. If I were to look back through the rest of his social, let's go ahead and check. You see it's on the website. So it really does become an indicator of whether I'm in the right place or not, with them. Let's go to the tweets. And that's the only place where it's missing. So it used to be here, and then he changed the logo. I'm going to write him and tell him, this is what I think you need to change back, or it's got to be here on your page somewhere, because it has to really represent you. Now, of course, if you were typing in Radio Drive in the Finder and you get all of these different people, which you could get, there's a Radio Drive here, there's a Radio Drive by, and that will be confusing because they're going to be looking for the RD but only seeing his picture, and his picture isn't what we're seeing consistent on his website or anywhere else. So it would make finding Radio Drive or the right Radio Drive in the list very hard for somebody. And I'll tell you, one of the big places that it's especially difficult when you don't have it is when you're trying to tag somebody on social media. So if I were trying to tag him on social media and I type in the word Radio Drive, you see how he doesn't come up? Well, that's going to be a big problem, because if I'm new and I want to tag him and involve him in a conversation and increase his stats, I can't find him in this. And if I just think he's got to be on a Radio Drive, right? Which one is he? Now, if you were consistent in using the RD, then I would know for a fact that if I don't see the RD here, then I don't have the right page. I'd have to go find it. And this really, really does matter, because not everybody's going to be tagging you on their social media pages. The majority of our listeners, and even the people, you guys that are listening to me right now, you're usually on your cell phone or some kind of mobile device. And that has a lot to do with your ability to tag and include me in the conversation or include any of these artists in the conversation. So I think it's really important that you guys consider what you're doing, promoting your music brands. If you really want to do this and you're serious about it, there are things like Fiverr out there, websites that help you with design for like $5, $10. And even if it's something you can't develop yourself, if you don't have any kind of Photoshop abilities, or you can't draw and photograph a logo of your own or develop it some way, you could use these services, or a friend that's actually in a design school, to be able to help you develop something for your logo or your brand. And I think that's really, really important that you do it. So once again, just to recap, it improves the searchability of you on social media, especially if you're doing a lot of different socials. You want to make sure that it goes from your website all the way through your social media pages, and that's really, really important. The second thing is it's going to boost your sales, because if you crowdfund your project and you come out with a new logo and you say, this is our new logo, we're developing the album, people are now starting to imprint the very newest release of your music with the logo that you put as the image. And that is something so, so important to boost your sales, because people are going to want to get that as a limited edition on t-shirts. They're going to want to get that logo on hats or whatever it is that you're releasing. If they're diehard fans of your band, they know that that particular version of that logo marks that time, that moment in time when you released that album. Also, if you tie it into crowd funds and you say things like, this merchandise is only going to be available at this point in time, and we're not going to be releasing the merchandise past this year. This is when you get it. This is your opportunity to buy it. That's going to be really, really important for you too. And finally, with your music brand, you want to tie it into something, an image that really does build that fan relationship and that base. Now don't forget, you can keep, after your crowdfund's over, you can keep a level of merchandise there as giveaways to be able to reinforce that brand statement and keep that conversation going throughout the year. But like Den of Ashes has it on his cover art or somewhere used in his sleeves, you can see where it becomes a mark in time for the music that you've created. And I really love that idea. I think it just makes a more powerful statement. And that's what I look for. That's what I most look for when I'm reviewing brands and helping them develop their fan bases, is you got to give something for everyone to attach themselves to. It's really important. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and please share it with your friends. Don't forget to follow us here on the channel, because we talk about this stuff all the time, and I certainly will have more information for you on how to build a fan base around your music brand right here. Thanks for joining me for live streaming on Tuesday. This is Jacqueline Jax from AVA Live Radio.